Imagine scrolling through Steam, searching for your next gaming adventure, and stumbling upon a title that beckons you with its vibrant pixel art universe. TangleDeep takes inspiration from classic dungeon crawlers and adds a unique twist with new mechanics, like farming. Everyone likes farming, right? Well, with a focus on strategic planning and combat, it promises to fully immerse you in its world. But does it truly deliver? Stick around and we'll find out if TangleDeep is truly worth your time. Welcome to the Roguelike Spotlight.
Here we go again.
We'll take a look at various things this new take on classic dungeon crawlers adds, and break it down into its main components before giving it a rating out of 5 based on my experiences. Let's dive right into what this revitalized take on traditional roguelikes has to offer, making sure we store our spare change before getting lost in the sea of bog frogs. But first, let's clarify what exactly TangleDeep is. TangleDeep is a reimagined expansion on traditional roguelikes where you play as an adventurer who has spent her entire life trying to find the truth of what is called the TangleDeep, which is a seemingly ever-expanding mystery that has numerous questions tied to it. You take control of your character, choosing a class to venture forth to find the truth. As you progress, you will keep going back to your base camp where it'll expand and grow based off your findings. But as soon as you die once, it's all back to the beginning. In the base modes, there is no persistent power-ups or growth. Once your character is gone, they're gone forever. Ever. With that in mind, let's generate a new character and dive into the world of gameplay. I will start by saying this. There's a lot to this game I've yet to explore. There's a lot of content and it takes a long time to get through the game. Honestly, it's like a randomly generated RPG each time you play. So I may have not seen all unlocks, mechanics, or secrets, and I certainly haven't played all the classes.
Holy Jesus.
But with that in mind, I want to go over my thoughts on the base gameplay loop. And man, is it very well executed. Exploring the TangleDeep is that true dungeon crawling experience from Rogue, Crypt of the Necrodancer, and of course our favorite, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Hey, don't look at me, it's a dungeon crawler. Anyways, as turn-based strategic gameplay keeps you engaged trying to optimize your next moves, else your run and world is all over. In all honesty, it's super fun to really think through every move and do your best to maximize your reward versus its risk. And while in my gameplay I didn't take the most risks, each choice has its own equal consequence, good or bad. When it comes to outside of the TangleDeep, you find yourself with a bunch of merchants, each with their own style of wares to help build yourself up as you go back into the dungeon. Alongside this, there are cooking mechanics to make powerful foods to heal and buff yourself. On top of this, there are monster capturing systems to get pets, and even minor farming aspects where you can grow trees to get additional resources and EXP. There's honestly so much detail and small things in this game that I could probably make it its own video, just trying to explain everything this game has to offer. From secret areas, small mini games, and it takes a gear growth progression system alongside character growth. But no mechanic takes away from any of the others. It's all blended beautifully into this cohesive gameplay loop. And the fact that this feels like it's an RPG is just the icing on the cake. This game is a 5 out of 5 for gameplay for me. I haven't found anything that stood out to me that is not just me not being used to the game and making mistakes. Damn misclicks. But that's just user error. The mechanics and world are beautifully executed. Speaking of the world and everything in it, the visuals in this game are absolutely gorgeous.
This right here is my favorite thing.
No, seriously, this is desktop background level stuff. The colors are vibrant, the monster designs are fantastic, and the world just feels natural and alive. Everything aligns perfectly with this art style. It's truly magical and showcases the enchantment of this game's universe. Additionally, the game clearly communicates enemies' intentions, whether they have an area of effect move or if you do, which makes it very easy to track what's going on. I honestly found no flaws in the visuals and presentation of this game. I have to give them a perfect 5 out of 5 for how seamless the world comes together, effortlessly encapsulating you in its enchanting atmosphere. From the visuals to the sound, the audio doesn't disappoint. The music feels right at home in this 16-bit style dungeon crawler, and I have to say, it really slaps. When I first heard the first boss music during my stream, I had to pause the fight just to take it all in. Maybe it's just me, but it really struck a chord. Every track fits perfectly and does wonders for the ears. The sound effects are also wonderful, especially with critical hits. They just have a very needy sound effect that just reinforces that this is really gonna hurt. That being said, the only thing that could be a bit confusing is if it was me or the enemy who just landed the crit. So take that how you will. I don't think it's really enough to take away from the game itself. If anything, I feel like it's a nitpick. And for that reason, I'm still gonna give audio a 5 out of 5. It's just a very enjoyable atmosphere and design that fits right at home in this style of game. And I hope you enjoyed the soundtrack because you might be hearing it quite a bit. The replayability of this game is noteworthy. I have to admit, I've never fully completed a run.
What?
I'm not sure how long the game is exactly, but I know it has some good length to it. Given that the base difficulty sends you back to the very beginning if you die, you find yourself replaying parts of the game quite a bit. On top of that, there are 12 classes offering a multitude of different playstyles. I immediately chose Hunter and started the game. Then I died. And I immediately chose Blade Dancer and I started the game. And with there being this many different classes, it really adds a lot to the game. However, being styled after an RPG can be a bit of a double-edged sword, depending on your perspective. If the game is challenging enough, you'll find yourself replaying to uncover the ending with each death. But if you manage to beat it easily, you may feel like you've experienced everything in the story and reached the conclusion without fully exploring all the different options. That's where some questions arise. Since I haven't fully played through the game, sadly, I don't have the 10+ hours needed to complete a run without dying in time for this review. But I've done some research. It turns out I might not be as far from the end as I initially thought. With just 2 bosses left to defeat and a good portion of the second area completed, it seems there isn't much beyond that. So maybe that 10+ hour thing was a bit of a stretch. However, while the story remains the same, the journey will always be different. Additionally, there are some dialogue choices along the way that can have some minor impacts, encouraging the player to explore all the conversations. Plus, there are achievements to unlock, which can add more to the experience if that's your thing. Also to add, apparently there is a New Game Plus option. I have no idea what that adds, so you'll have to find that for yourself. So, even if the main story isn't your driving force anymore, there's still plenty to discover in this game, and for that reason, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Okay, now that we realize that maybe we can beat the game within 10 hours per run, let's discuss how to scale that maybe more like 5-hour mountain with difficulty. And yeah, this game can be rough. This is styled off of traditional roguelikes and dungeon crawlers, and it sure won't baby you. One wrong move can cause you immense amounts of damage.
That's a lot of damage!
Or maybe even worse, sending your ass straight back to the class select screen and hope you do better next time. So this game has one mission, and that is to kill you, and it will throw everything at you to achieve that. Though, that being said, it isn't unfair. You'll get plenty of loot and be able to go to town whenever you want to stock back up. That being said, you won't heal when you go outside of the dungeon, so you better hope there's some good food there. So, all in all, given each movement could be your last if you aren't careful, I will give difficulty a 4 out of 5. It's hard, but it isn't unfair. It's a very good blend of difficulty that you need to use your head to get out of some situations. Just make sure you go back to town to stock up. Oh, hey look, a subscribe and like button. Perfect things I need to keep going. So make sure you hit those, unless you want my character to face a frog-induced demise. Either way, let me know your thoughts on the game. But after 5+ hours of using flasks to save my butt, and finding out frogs are the true final boss of this game, for me at least, this game is a truly magical experience. From start to, well, not quite end, but it's just magical, okay? Given all this, I will happily give this game 4 fungus frogs out of 5. The chat and I named it Bungus. Speaking of which, you should join us on Saturdays when we look over the upcoming spotlight. I hope to see you there. But this game is a wonderful reimagination of the classic dungeon crawler experience that just adds so much to the genre. But is it worth your time, money, and likely demise of some form of hopping amphibian? Well, if you like dungeon crawlers, especially those that add a lot of mechanics to the table, like RPGs that give a lot of class opportunities, and or just love 16-bit styled games, then I would say yes, please go check it out. It's really good. Go now. I'm not continuing you until you do. The link will be in the description. Go on. Go. But anyways, with that out of the way, and now that you totally looked at the game, if you want to know another interesting take on a genre of a game, take a look at Elsie, which is a roguelike styled after Mega Man. You won't want to miss out.